Who will advance in the age groups? The quarterfinals conclude as the teens and masters look to get one step closer to a trip to Madison. We'll preview the athletes and storylines to watch on the men's side next on Game Central. Hi everybody, welcome to another edition of Game Central presented by GoWOD, the official mobility partner of the Noble CrossFit Games. The age group athletes are set to close out the quarterfinals segment of the season. The masters and the teenagers in action this weekend. We'll get to the teens here in a second, but we are going to start with the masters. And here are your top performers out of the open heading into quarterfinals. Sam Dancer, in his first year of eligibility as a master, he was in first place out of the open in the 35 to 39-year-old division. And then Lemerson Caporale, aging up his first year in the 55 to 59-year-old division out of Brazil. He is your top man in that division. For all the other top stories in the Masters division, here's Tommy Marquez.
Oh yeah, Sean, break out the neoprene and the joint cream because the Masters are coming in hot and heavy this weekend for the quarterfinal round. And we've got the top stories in every single division. We're gonna start in my favorite, the Dirty 30s in the 35 to 39 division. And you already mentioned Sam Dancer, but what's most impressive is he only started training in January. Basically took 2 years off training, had a kid with his wife Jen, and then set a goal of being in the top 10 worldwide in the open and first in his age group this year when he did finally start training. Well, he won his age group and he did so ahead of some big names like Rob Forte, Roy Gamboa, Dan Bailey, Paul Tremblay, and Austin Malleolo, just to name a few. In the 40 to 44 division, we're throwing it back for all my history nerds out there. I mean, all the way back to the year 1760 and the 7 Years' War, because the top of the leaderboard after the Open is a battle between France and the United States. The top 8 overall coming from both of those two countries. France has the upper hand in this division in 2021, taking 2 podium spots, and this year Alexandre Jolivet leads the way after finishing 3rd at the games last year, and the 2021 champion Maxime Gouillon sits in 8th. In the 45 to 49 division, reigning champ Jason Grubb is going for 3 straight titles after winning in a younger division in 2019 before leveling up last year. But he got beat in the Open by 2 newcomers, Brazil's Fernando Gonçalves and Sacramento's own Angel Cardenas. Just behind Grubb in 4th is Justin Lasala, a 2-time podium finisher in this division as well the last 2 years. So don't be surprised to see the vets strike back this weekend. Which leads us perfectly into the 50 to 54 division, where there are a ton of new names in the top 10 at the top of the leaderboard. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't count out some of the veterans lurking in the top 20, like Bob Arano, Randy Lowe, that qualified in this division last year. Now keep in mind, with the winner out of the Open and top qualifier, Steve Hartle only got to compete in 1 event at the games last year in Madison before he had to unfortunately withdraw. So he's on a nice comeback campaign heading into this weekend as well. In the 55 to 59 division, Vincent Diephuis came from out of nowhere last year to take home the gold in this division, and he's back again to defend his crown. He finished 2nd in the Open, but he's got a strong challenge from a largely international crowd at the top of the leaderboard. The top 8 include Vincent from the Netherlands, Lemerson Caporale from Brazil, as well as 2 athletes from Spain and 1 from Sweden. Only 2 athletes from outside of North America qualified for the games in this division last year, so we could be seeing a rising wave globally. In the 60 to 64 division, the big question is, where is Will Powell? The 4-time CrossFit Games champion and 2021 winner in this division is in 58th and on the 2nd page after the Open, and will need to improve his standing to move forward to chase a possible 5th title through the semifinals, as your current leaders are a mix of relative newcomers like Fernando Hazeloff, who missed the games by 7 spots last season, and games vets like John Crow and 2017 Masters champ in the 55 to 59 division, Shannon Aiken. Last year's runner-up, Carl Jufrey, is in the mix down in 11th as well. Last, but certainly not least, in the 65-plus division, the top 3 athletes out of the Open are all in their first season in this division, and they're already staking their claim to challenge defending champion Ken Ogden for the crown, as Ogden sits in 7th out of the Open. I'm going to be frank with you. This was one of the most hotly contested divisions last season at the Games, with all 3 podium spots up for grabs in the finale. And adding Games vets like John Mariotti, John Smith, and Matt Bell, your top 3 out of the Open, to the mix now that their 65 has already shaken things up a bit on the leaderboard, and this should be a fun division to watch all year long. And you know, Sean, some other Masters competition may already be a tradition unlike any other, but last I checked, Tiger Woods can't snatch 250, and he can't do Amanda Unbroken. So I'm going to petition Jim Nantz to let us use his catchphrase, because there's way more to be excited about this Masters competition this weekend.
Thank you, Tommy. Let's go over to the teenager side of the house. 2 divisions will be in action this weekend, the 14 to 15-year-olds and the 16 to 17-year-olds. And here are the 2 men who lead those 2 categories after the Open. In the 14 to 15-year-old division, it's RJ Mestri, and then in the 16 to 17-year-old division, Elijah Subiono. And for more on the storylines to watch this weekend in the teenager division, here's Kayla Banfield.
Leading the way in the boys' 14 to 15-year-old category is RJ Meester, who started the season strong with 1 second and 2 firsts in the Open. Meester should be able to hold his position at the top of the leaderboard if we go off last year's game stats, given that the 4 athletes that finished in front of him have now all gone up an age division. A potential threat to RJ could be Kayla Subiono, who came second to Meester in 22.2 and currently sits in 3rd position leading into the Age-Group Quarterfinals. Now fitness seems to run in the Subiono family, with Kayo's brother Elijah taking out the Open in the boys' 16 to 17-year-old category. If Elijah makes it through to the Games this year, it will be his 2nd appearance, where he will look to improve on last year's placing of 6th.
Thank you, Kayla. Remember, the Age Group Online Quarterfinals begin April 21st. They run through April 24th. The top 30 members of each age group will advance to the semifinals, and then out of the semifinals, the top 10 move on to the 2022 Noble CrossFit Games. We are also having the Occupational Games this weekend. They run April 21st through April 24th, and we will crown the fittest active duty military member, the fittest military veteran, law enforcement officer, firefighter, first responder, medical professional, educator, and college student. Good luck to everybody competing starting on April 21st. Thank you so much for watching this edition of Game Central presented by GoWOD, the official mobility partner of the Noble CrossFit Games. You can download the GoWOD app now for a free mobility test and a 14-day trial. Also, if you haven't already, be sure to check out episode 2 of Miles to Madison. It is available on the CrossFit Games YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'm Sean Woodland. Good luck to everyone competing this weekend, and we'll talk to you next time.